Welcome back. We're witnessing a rapid shift in technology, the transition from single AI apps to integrated multi-AI systems that are transforming how people work and make decisions. This trend brings new advantages, new risks, and growing questions about how close we are to a personal AI operating system. Joining us virtually is Haziq Shamsher Sharif, an independent tech reviewer who's at the forefront of this shift. Now, Haziq, I'd like to begin with this. More people we know are moving away from single AI apps and relying instead on coordinated multi-AI workflows in their daily life. From your perspective, what exactly is AI integration, and why has it grown so quickly into a major trend?
So hi, Jason. Thanks for having me here today. This is actually something that we are seeing a lot lately. People are not just using one AI tool anymore. They are using, I can say, multiple AI tools together. So firstly, we need to understand how most people actually do their work. Most tasks are not just based on one single action. It happens in a few different steps to get the entire task to be completed. So we take an example like preparing a proposal, yeah? So you first need ideas and then you need to write the entire content. And then you need to add some images based on the content. So before this, people might generate the idea manually, then use one AI tool to write the content. Then they still need to manually search for some images again, and usually those images don't really match with the content. But today, people use different AI tools for each step. One to generate the ideas, and one to write the content. Another one is to generate those images based on that content. So, and when these tools are connected to one another, so imagine everything will become more faster and consistent. So that's basically what AI integration means at a simple level. So it's like these different AI tools, they are being connected to one another, so the AI brain can talk to each other. So sometimes people might do this manually, like copy and pasting. But a more advanced setup use things like APIs or what we call as automation tools. Basically, the system pass the results to each other automatically. So I can say that this trend exploded mainly because it helps us to save time, reduces our mental effort, and allow people to focus on quality instead of managing different set of tools. But technology here is not to replace us, it's more like assisting us to produce a better outcome.
Thanks, Haziq. Well, at the same time, what real advantages does integrating these apps deliver that solo AI apps can't? And I think more importantly, how do you think it actually changes the life for the average user, especially for one that isn't necessarily in the industry?
All right, that's a great one. So how does this AI integration, delivers, I can say that they deliver two big advantages for everyday user, which is number one is less repetition and less mental load. So when people use a single AI tool, they still need to manage the whole entire process themselves. As an example, they need to copy those information, then they need to switch between different platforms and check consistency and fix any mistakes. Repetition creates some mental load and requires more time for a person. So when these AI tools are integrated to one another, so the workflow somehow smoothly from one step to the next. So this helps us to reduce repetitive effort, improve consistency, help us to save time and allow people to focus more on decision making and quality instead of managing different set of tools. So the real value here is not that the AI becomes smarter, it's just that the real value is that humans becomes more efficient, less stressed, and more productive. So in simple terms, the AI integration helps people to work smarter and not harder.
Thanks, Haziq. I guess maybe let's get a bit technical here. Behind the seamless feel, explain to us how do these AIs actually coordinate, and what's the handoff process, for things like tasks, context, and intent.
Okay, in simple terms, this AI, integrated AI, it works like a team with a clear roles. So usually one AI acts as the coordinator, so it understands the main task. So other AI tools, it handles specific parts like writing, analyzing data, and creating visual. So the key idea here is how those information is passed on from one AI to another platform. So each AI basically passes, I can say, three important things to the next one. Number one, what needs to be done? Second is the relevant information. And the lastly is the intention, meaning to say what the final result should look like. So this can be done manually, like I mentioned earlier, like copy and pasting, but a more advanced way, which is automatically through APIs or what we call it as automation tools, where the system pass those information directly to each other.
Now, with the rise of the use of AI, experts say integrated AI cuts mental load, not just tasks, as you just mentioned. But I guess one concern is the research. What does research show about its effect on our focus, decisions, and cognitive efforts, in your opinion?
What we are seeing here is that integrated AI, yes, it helps us to reduce what we call as mental load. So when people constantly switch between different platforms, repeat instructions, and manage small tasks, it drains our focus. But integrated AI here, it helps us to take over those repetitive steps, so humans can focus on higher level thinking, like judgment, creativity, and decision making. However, there is also a balance here. Yeah, if people rely too much on AI without thinking, they might risk weakening their critical thinking skills. So the key here is to use AI and this technology as an assistant, not to replace us for the judgment. So this integrated AI doesn't just change how fast we work, but it changes how we think. When we use it properly, it supports human focus and decision making, but the key idea here, human must always stay in control. So the goal is assistant, not dependence.
It's with so many people offshoring, their decision-making process to AI. AI security has become a big word where more connections means more risks. Haziq, can you explain to us what vulnerabilities emerge when multiple AIs share your data and decisions, especially when this data is available on the cloud?
So the main trade-off is that when these systems are more connected to one another, so the risk surface becomes larger. So more data of yours is being shared among other platforms, so more decisions are being automated and more systems are depending on each other. And other key risks also include data privacy, security exposure, and error propagation, meaning if one AI produces a wrong output, that error can be passed on to another system. So that's why governance becomes very important. Humans must define clear boundaries, permissions, and review each point, because all these AI tools, they can still make mistakes. As an example, like some of the AI tools, it clearly states that on their platform, as you can see, we can still make mistakes. Please check important info. So integration brings, yes, it brings efficiency, but humans must come with control. So the goal is not to let this technology decide everything, but we have to use it responsibly. With humans must always in charge of the judgment, ethics, accountability, and decision making.
Thanks, Isaac. I want to pivot a bit to what some predict as a personal AI operating system that refers to one brain, running all your tools. Can you tell us how close really are we to achieving this, and what must be changed for mainstream adoption for this personal AI operation system?
Okay, so in reality, yes, we are already moving in that direction, but I can say we are not fully there yet. Today, we see early versions of this where those AI and this technology can help across emails, documents, calendars, and data. So how close are we? It depends on how this technology, how people adopt this technology. So in our point of view, every technology will go through three different stages. Number one is awareness. Second is utilization, and third is optimization. So first, people need to be aware of the technology existence. So second is when they start using it. But the most important stage is optimization, where people truly understand how to fully use this technology to get the real value out of it. But right now, I can see that many people are still in the awareness or basic usage stage. That's why I said earlier, that's why we are close, but we are not fully there yet. So for this to become mainstream, I can say there are three things must be improved. Number one, awareness. Second is trust and reliability. And lastly is control. So people need to understand what the technology can actually do and trust how their data is being handled and rely on consistent result, but most importantly, stay in control of that.
As you mentioned, as we move from, I guess, the awareness to utilization phase, how might do you think this integration change human behavior? Do we risk outsourcing too much of our judgment to machines in the overall grand scheme of things, especially if we fail to adopt appropriate guardrails around this technology?
Okay, so yes, integrated AI can actually help humans to reduce small, repetitive decisions and help people to focus more on other important things. But there is also a big risk here. If people become too comfortable and rely too much on technology, they may start to outsource those judgment and decision making to machines. So technology, yes, it can process those information, but it cannot replace human judgment, empathy, and leadership. So many real life decisions are not made based on facts alone. It involves values, emotions, real life context, responsibility. So that's why I always frame AI and this technology as an assistant, not a decision maker. So AI should help humans to work better and smarter, but humans must always own those values, ethics, and final accountability. So this technology should amplify humans, but not replace them. Those personal human touch will always remain important between us.
Exactly. And maybe on the last point, as you mentioned on accountability, we know when multiple AIs handle information hand to hand, how do we ensure accuracy and accountability, especially if one system passes flawed data to another? Who do you think should be accountable for the final output, and how do we ensure accountability is baked into our technology in this aspect?
Okay, when we talk about integrated AI system, accuracy depends heavily on how humans design and guide the entire process. So AI and this technology does not interpret outcomes on its own. So humans must still define the goal, the context, and how results should be understood. So even the AI platforms themselves clearly state that they may make mistakes. So that's why good system actually involve verification points, transparency, and humans must always review at each critical stage. So, for example, one AI might summarize a document, and another AI might use that summary to generate recommendation. So, if the summary is incorrect and no one checks it, the error flows through the entire process. But when humans review those key outputs and correct those mistakes early, accuracy can still be maintained. That's why I also, as mentioned earlier, it's important to also use reliable AI platforms with proper safeguards and governance. But regardless of those platforms, accountability never sits with the AI, it always sits with the people and the organization that use it.
Perfect. Thank you, Haziq, for helping us unpack not only just the promise of integrated AI, but also the question it raises around accuracy, access, and the future of human decision making. As these systems grow more connected, so will the conversations around how we use them and what role we want them to play in our daily lives.